It's the end of a long day here in Westminster, where Boris Johnson has just survived a no-confidence vote in his leadership by 211 votes to 148.
Good evening. I can report as returning officer that 359 ballots were cast, no spoiled ballots, that the vote in favour of having confidence in Boris Johnson as leader was 211 votes, and the vote against was 148 votes. And therefore, I can announce that the Parliamentary Party does have confidence.
We had Foreign Office Minister James Cleverly coming out afterwards saying MPs should now pull together and it's a comprehensive victory, and you wouldn't get any other candidate getting 60% of their party's support like that. Now that is a slightly charitable version, to put it mildly. It's correct that Boris Johnson survived, but most people expected him to, and actually most people didn't expect as many as 148 MPs to be voting against him in that secret ballot. For comparison, I think 117 voted against Theresa May, and as a percentage, that was less than the percentage of MPs that voted against Boris Johnson this time. Don't forget that things could also get worse, so even though he is technically safe from a vote for a year, there are two big by-elections coming up in Tiverton and Wakefield in June, and then there's the Privileges Committee report into whether he lied to Parliament over Partygate, which could take until October or November to report back, so this thing could have a long tail and it could stretch on beyond the party conference in October. So what happens now? Prime Minister has just had his Queen's speech and he'll be trying to get some of that red meat policy through. But the problem is that the complaint about that speech is that there's not been any sort of big, huge vision for the country. There's still complaints that the levelling up policies are still to be achieved, and with MPs in the Red Wall being among some of those who voted against him tonight, that could fuel some more discontent among their ranks, and they could be very unhappy even if they can't technically oust him. Don't forget, it only took 5 months for Theresa May to be ousted after her vote, and one MP who voted against Boris Johnson tonight told us anonymously that don't forget this is a considerable, substantial vote against the PM. It's bigger than the vote was against Theresa May. He has to decide, Boris Johnson has to decide what he does now. There are multiple things that could happen now. The first, of course, is that Boris Johnson hangs on and he wins the next general election. That's, of course, what he hopes will happen. The next is that he hangs on and he loses the general election, just like John Major did after surviving a vote of no confidence before. And that would unseat a lot of those MPs, some of whom voted against him tonight, but some of whom were very loyal. What might well happen is that he gets a series of new blows over the next few months, and that puts more pressure on him to get out of where he is now. And MPs won't have a sort of formal mechanism unless they change the rules of the 1922 committee and mean that they can have more than one vote every year. Interestingly, that has been discussed before. In 2019, the 1922 committee discussed shortening that 1 year grace period to 6 months after Theresa May survived her vote in a pretty similar way to the way that Boris Johnson has survived his tonight. So he's out of the woods for now, he's safe, at least for a while, and his allies say that we should move on and draw a line under Partygate. The problem is that what's happened today has opened up a fissure in the party and created divisions and exposed divisions that we didn't know were there quite as badly as they are. I'll leave you with the example of Jesse Norman, the MP who was one of the first out of the box this morning to send his no confidence letter. He essentially said that this is not just about Partygate, this is about policy, and this is about the direction of the party. This is about policies like Rwanda and Brexit that in his view were illegal. So you haven't heard the end of this, even if Boris Johnson would like to tell you so.